All right, guys, welcome back. Good late morning. Going to be streaming in about an hour with the Hawk's Nest if you're watching this video right after upload. So, noon. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming trade deadline. We're going to talk about this Washington game coming up on Sunday. Tune in. Going to be fun. Going to have a good time. You guys know the drill. You guys also probably know the drill with this video where we take a look at some of my favorite defensive draft prospects from the most recent week. Again, it wasn't a great week, especially at one particular position. All these bye weeks, this is one of those weeks where the bye weeks just kind of kill you. So we've got some guys to discuss. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna get a full video out of it, but most weeks are gonna be a little bit more full up than what we see here. And some of these guys, I crammed them on here because you got to do what you got to do, but some of these performances are not necessarily highlight reel worthy. So let's go with it. First, though, back in 60. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Okay, so we start with nose tackle. It was actually a pretty decent week for nose tackles. I don't mind this nose tackle class at all. If the Seahawks want to try to get a real nose tackle this offseason, I think it's a good one to do it in. Tim Keenan the third. All three of these guys are guys we've talked about plenty before. Tim Keenan the third of Alabama. He probably had the most splashy game. Had 4 tackles as a nose, which is really good, and he recovered a fumble. Had one quarterback pressure as well. Alabama allowed 3 yards a carry, 111 rushing yards allowed. Very, very stout. 75.7 PFF grade. Liking what I see there. Dominique Orange of Iowa State. He's somebody that's really come on strong these last couple weeks, I think. Maybe month and a half. Only had 1 tackle, but batted down a pass and had 2 quarterback pressures. And ISU only allowed 3.7 yards a carry, 103 rushing yards total. Pretty good. 70.7 PFF. And final guy, our longtime mainstay here on the list here. Been talking about this guy for a while. Dante Corleone. Only 1 tackle. That was actually the only stat he allowed for Cincinnati, but 129 rushing yards allowed, 4 yards a carry is okay, 64.3. I mean, it's certainly not one of his best games, but he continues to be a guy who plays a huge majority of his snaps in the A gap, which I think is something we really need to be looking for. Edge rushers. Not the greatest week for the edge rushers, but not bad either. Some standout performers. Cassius Howell only had 2 tackles and 2 pressures, but they were both sacks. So, I mean, that's efficient, right? If you get 2 tackles and they're both sacks, you did something right. 66.3 for Texas A&M. Ruben Bain Jr., he's... I don't even know if I should keep talking about Ruben Bain Jr. He's so obviously become a top 5 pick that Seattle's got no chance of being able to get him. And there is an argument to be made that we're spinning our wheels here continuing to discuss him, but only 1 tackle this week, and he also missed a tackle, so it's kind of weird that he's here, especially because he also had a penalty, but 6 pressures. I think that was the most of any major edge player this week. So even in a game where he doesn't put up big box score numbers, he's still out there contributing heavily to Miami's big win. 87.1 PFF. Damon Wilson II, new name here. This is a new one. Missouri. Haven't talked about Missouri much this year. 2 tackles, including a sack. Had 1 pick as well, so he comes up with the interception. Missed a tackle, but had 5 total pressures, so really effective game as a rusher. 78.2 PFF. Good stuff. He's become a day 3 guy for sure, I think. Quincy Rhodes Jr. of Arkansas, 5 tackles, including 2 sacks. So, again, another multi-sack game for him. I don't know if we've talked very much about Quincy Rhodes so far this year, but I like him. He did have 2 missed tackles, 3 total pressures, 66.1, so could have been better, but an effective game nonetheless. Derek Moore of Michigan. I don't think we've discussed him before, but he's starting to creep up as a draftable guy. 2 sacks for him on 6 tackles, 4 total pressures, 74.8. Pretty effective. We don't have all the sizzle that we've had over the past several weeks. Like, this isn't amazing, but it's still good. Like, this is still nice production overall. And we just don't have one of those guys who went off for like 9 or 10 pressures like we've had in some recent weeks. Okay, linebacker is the position that really struggled this week. The linebackers this week were not good. I could only find 3 that are even worth mentioning, so not very good. There are good linebackers in this class. I want to be clear. A lot of the guys that I would normally talk about didn't play because of the bye week. Like, Ohio State alone going on their bye week is a big problem, right? Because they have the top 2 guys in this class, maybe. Now, the good news is Anthony Hill Jr. had a career game for Texas. 10 tackles, including 2.5 sacks, 3.5 for loss. So he also had a tackle for loss in there as well. 9 quarterback pressures. Pretty superhuman. Got targeted in coverage once, didn't allow any catches, 75 PFF. That's the kind of game that's going to get you a lot of attention in April. So that definitely does the heavy lifting here. Texas won a shootout, by the way, in overtime. Deontay Lawson of Alabama, he had a nice game for the Crimson Tide. 7 tackles, broke up a pass, forced a fumble, did miss 2 tackles, but threw in 3 pressures. Allowed 1 catch on 3 targets for 12 yards, 73.1 PFF. I mean, it's a really good game, and he's a guy that's been on my radar for a minute here. I like Deontay Lawson. Talked about him last year. He decided not to come out, and I think he could be a day 2 pick, no problem. Jacob Rodriguez of Texas Tech. Wow. Texas Tech. He's fringe draftable right now, but he had a great game for TTU. 10 tackles, including a tackle for loss. He forced a fumble. He recovered a fumble and took it back for a touchdown. Gave up 3 catches, but only for 15 yards total on 3 targets. So I'll take that all day. 85 PFF, so great game for him, but he's definitely not somebody who is earmarked as an NFL guy. Could go either way with him. So that's it for linebacker. Not a good week. Now, we did do a little bit better with cornerback, although there is a caveat here, right? Tacario Davis. Okay, let's talk this through here. So Tacario Davis, UW Husky, 4 tackles and a pick. So that's good. 2 catches allowed on 2 targets for 6 yards. So that's really good too. 3 penalties. And normally 3 penalties would be disqualifying, right? But I watched that whole game live because it's the Huskies. And one of those penalties was crap. And that penalty robbed him of an interception. So if they do not call that penalty, which they should not have, yeah, maybe he still has 2 penalties, but that would have been 2 interceptions in a game. And that definitely gets you here. So I'm just going to put him here. Understand that, okay, maybe he's still struggling a little bit coming back from the injury, grabbing a little bit, but that should have been a multiple interception game, period. And the fact that it wasn't is very annoying, but I still think he played a really good game regardless, even with the 56.2. Let's face it, that only comes in because of all the penalties. Colton Hood of Tennessee continues to shine in the absence of Tennessee's top corner, who's been injured all year. 5 tackles, including 1 for a loss, forced a fumble, allowed 1 catch for 3 yards on 2 targets, so didn't really get anything big on him. 77.9 PFF. Really good stuff from him. He's maybe edging into that first round at this point. D'Angelo Ponce, one of my favorite sleeper corners in this draft of Indiana. 2 tackles, broke up 2 passes and had a quarterback pressure. Targeted twice, no catches allowed. 83.9. He's been on this list like 4 times this year. I really like him. Isaiah Brown Murray of Virginia Tech. Interesting game here. So 4 tackles. Did allow 4 catches on 5 targets, but only 17 yards. So that's not even 3.5 yards a target. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that for an outside corner. First time we're talking about him, by the way. He's new, 73.1, so well graded. Final guy is going to be Julian Neal of Arkansas, another new name. He had 6 tackles, broke up a pass, did miss a tackle, allowed 3 catches, 5 targets, 27 yards. That's only like 5.4 yards per target, which is okay. He did allow a touchdown, so it wasn't all great, but it's not bad. I mean, I think that sometimes allowing a touchdown is circumstantial. Like obviously you want to talk about the 27 yards. I think you want to be careful about being overly critical about allowing the touchdown because that can be, again, circumstantial. 77.9 PFF grade is still very good. So he's a new name to watch out for in day 3, and that's it. That's all we got on defense this week. Not a great week. A lot of the top guys sitting out, but still a pretty good crop, still a pretty good crew, still enough to talk about. Streaming at noon. Hope to see you guys there. If you can't catch it live, catch the VOD. Go Hawks. More stuff coming in the near future.